Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolebarger and welcome to this week's KFIR Middle East update. This is the week of March 24th, and just a reminder, make sure you go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com and access there the PDF PowerPoint that accompanies this presentation. Again, this is just really a promo for what you will find in detail on our website. Again, it's free. Go to the site, KFIR Middle East Update. So what's going on this week in Israel? Issues with Syria, with the Israeli Air Force, Syria firing on the IAF. We know that the Israeli Air Force has struck inside Syria, specifically Hezbollah weapons caches, and the IDF Chief of Staff, Gadi Eisenkot, I think that's how you say his name, said last Sunday that he believed that Israel's next war would be with Hezbollah. So things are heating up in regards to all of that. There's some articles here specifically regarding what just took place this last week in Syria. The Shin Bet chief has made it clear that he expects that, at least for Hamas, that the upcoming Passover will be a prime time for terror. So everybody's sort of on alert when it comes to that. There has been activity in the Gaza as well. The IDF did bomb Hamas targets on the Gaza Strip last Saturday in response to rocket attacks by Gaza-based terrorists on Israel earlier that day. So once again, stay tuned. Again, the first article you'll see is basically the IAF versus Syria and what's going on there and the retaliations. In fact, a couple articles on that. It seems as if North Korea is getting into the fray as they're exporting missiles and other military systems to really countries and terrorist organizations around the world. It seems like Assad is looking to receive that type of technology from North Korea. So things are heating up. There's an article here, again, since we've talked about North Korea, we've talked about Hamas, we've talked about Hezbollah, so we'll take a look at what's going on in Iran, kind of the Iranian rocket factory. We know that the majority of Hezbollah, the weaponry from Hezbollah comes specifically by Iran and is transported through Syria into Lebanon, thus is the reason why the IAF is striking. Concerns, again, I'm always asked, so what's my thought about Trump? And I've always taken a wait-and-see attitude. I still am taking a wait-and-see attitude. It seems as if Trump is kind of following in step of former presidents regarding the embassy, regarding the Palestinians. There's an article here, Trump and the PLO. Take a look at that. Once again, it appears, but with Trump you never know, it appears that with Abbas being invited to the White House, that the United States will once again take a look at being involved in the disaster of what's called the two-state solution. And back to that campaign promise of moving the embassy to Jerusalem might be too early to tell, but it appears that this time that might be one of those negotiation chips that's kind of held back in hopes that there can be some sort of negotiations. An article that I think is really important for you to take a look at is one that's called Millennials and Israel. Once again, it's apparent. I have a lot of friends that are millennials and feel a specific burden to make sure that they understand what truly is taking place in the Middle East, specifically Israel, in regards to the so-called Palestinian people And they're subject to social media, to a biased media. And again, remember, the millennials have no memory of the Holocaust, no memories of 48, the War of Independence, or even the 67 war. Really little understanding of the Hamas charter or the Arabs that are stating, and it's crystal clear, if you want to know, read it, stating their intent to destroy Israel. This two-state solution is not about land. It never has been. It never will be. It's about the existence of Israel today. And when you can't even acknowledge their right to exist, truly, how can there be any kind of peace? Well, make sure you take in that article. Because we celebrated Purim last week, there's an article here called Iran in the Temple, and I think you'll find it interesting. Netanyahu was talking to a class of children regarding Purim and said, what was then is now, and talked about the Iranian as being the Persians of the time of Purim, and it's no different that Haman still exists, that the plot is to take out Israel, annihilate Israel from the face of the map. But just like back then, Israel will prevail because God will step in. He'll raise up an Esther, a Mordecai, etc. Well, the Iranians heard this, and they've got a different spin on that story, and they're talking about the heroic king, and even Cyrus, and how they were one of the first to open their doors during the Holocaust to Israeli refugees, etc., etc. And so there's an article here talking about, well, if that's the case, if you're truly our ally and want to support who we are, why don't you help us construct the third temple? So make sure you take that in. Quote of the week. There's a quote about actions speaking louder than words. Take in that. And then a good friend of mine at Ministry in Israel, Michael Utterback. I have to read this to you. It's one of those head scratchers. Take your time, ponder it. I call it a Selah moment. But his quote is, with revelation comes responsibility. The greater the revelation, the greater the responsibility. Seeking God and finding Him comes with a price. It also comes with great reward. Again, actions speak louder than our words. Passion and zeal are needed today in the body of believers that call Jesus Lord. A couple other things for you to take a look at. Always something about the rise of anti-Semitism, a sign in London. Picture of the week. I think this is a great picture of the desert blooming, or let's just say the Valley of Elah, where David fought Goliath. You'll see an amazing, vibrant photo here of flowers just in rainbow in color. So make sure you take that in. And with that, that's this week's KFIR Middle East update. Want to thank all of you that know what's going on in our lives with Sharon, myself. We're down here in San Diego. Appreciate your prayers. Really believe that your prayers made a difference. Our son had major surgery, and I love to hear the words of the surgeon when they come out of the operating room, when they said, you know what, it couldn't have gone any better. So that's where we stand. Yes, he's in a lot of pain. Yes, he still has terminal cancer, but continue to pray that God will do a miracle and heal him. And I thank all of you who have been praying for Trevor. So thank you very much. Also, in the next week or so, when we make our way back to Coeur d'Alene, Hayden Lake up in Idaho, we will be posting our upcoming trip to Israel in November. And it will be truly we call it off the beaten path. So keep your eyes open for that. We're looking forward to taking a group, and again, most likely those that have not been to Israel before. I mean, that have been to Israel before, because we're going to take in a lot of different give you a lot of different type of experiences that you don't see on a first-timer trip. So with that, this is Dan. Shabbat Shalom from San Diego. God bless.